Hello and welcome to your financial forecast. My name is Rob Candell. I am the creator of the financial forecast and the curator of the mastermind. I am absolutely thrilled to have you as part of the program, and thank you so much for investing your time, attention, and energy with us. This will be a series of videos educating you on how to work with and fill out your forecast. This first video will be a show and tell of what's possible in the forecast, and let's get started. Okay, so you might notice right away that the forecast has an actual 2022 and a forecast 2023. This is intentional because I wanted to just show you what was possible if with the forecast of comparing actual versus forecasted. I know when you do this, it'll be beyond 2024, but this is just a demonstration. Also note that when you sign up for the program and download your template, you'll be doing file, make a copy. And what this is, this will be sharing this document to your own Google corporate or personal G Drive. And so this document is 100% yours. Do with it as you will. And you can share it with your team. You can share it with us if you'd like us to be able to look over your shoulder, but this is 100% yours once you make a copy. All right, let's get started and do a review of the different tabs. As you know, in Excel or Google Sheets, that we use different tabs to hold different data. The YFF tab is the main tab, also known as a dashboard. And what this does is presents both the past income and data, if you have it, and your forecasted. So you can see here that we have the top level income, the total business made, 4.137 million, good year. In 2027, COGS, cost of goods sold or cost of service, what it takes to produce the income, direct expenses, your gross profit, which I like to see as the efficiency of the business, your overall expenses, which will occur regardless if you have any income or not, the difference between a COG and expense, something we'll be going over during the mastermind, and then of course your net profit, the cash left over in the business at the end of the year. We have here the different percentages, gross profit margin, which is simply the gross profit over the income, the net profit, which is net profit over income, your year over year growth, YOY growth, which is just the difference of one year to the next as a percent. Also, we have what your expected payroll is in for the different years, what your distributions are, your total comp, and then your cash after distribution. And what this means is the amount of money left over in the bank account because your distributions are not on your P&L, not in this list, but on what's called the balance sheet. Down in this section is a visual way for you to see your average gross and net income in the last 12 months and your forecasted gross and net income over the next 12 months. These will change as, of course, we adjust the forecast. To the right, we have your cash flow analysis. This is a very important tool because you want to be able to see over time how your cash is increasing or decreasing. Based on the forecast, you can see we have a very steep rise from where we are today, which is these values. Let's put today's date in. It's March 1st. And let's say this is now 1850, 35, and then 10,000 in savings. Well, that adjusts the starting point of your cash. And what the system does using this tab is predict a cash flow analysis, your starting cash, your expected income, your COGS, your expenses, your payroll, and the ending cash. And based on the parameters you put into the forecast, you can do some analysis of your cash. So let's say you wanted to just look at the next 2 months of cash. You can put in that date, and the dates will adjust to show you what your value is. Kind of a boring chart. I'm sorry, it's very linear. You can also see here that these are your current credit card numbers, and let's say this is now 7,500 and this is 2,700, and you want to make payments. Well, there's a section here, this little checkbox, where you can go to the right and say, all right, on 310, I'm going to pay off that 7,500, which of course affects your cash, and then your 2,700 also on 310, and these payments will be deducted from your cash. You also have the ability to do what I call dash income and expenses, just random things. Right now, it looks like I have a distribution plan for 715. Let's change that to 415. And you can see that affects your cash flow because that's that $15,000 there. And let's say we're going to put it to cover that on 430. We're going to put 100,000 in here as a way to increase our cash flow. Again, the ability to monitor your cash, highly important for any business, and these are the tools to make adjustments to ensure that you have the proper cash flow. Again, we'll be going over this more in the next videos. We then have the ability to compare what we call forecasted income versus actual. So forecasted, we have complete in for till 2027 at the moment. So, and we only have actual data here until January. So that's why this is blue and this is red. If we wanted to look at last year, these two graphs would then change to the different dates, and you can see, okay, we forecasted kind of a flat line here, but then we had a huge increase in the actual of this dummy data, and also your net profit follows a similar pattern. We also have on the dashboard the ability to look at data for overall. So what this does is this pulls data from your profit and loss. Again, this is sample data of a profit and loss from QuickBooks, a way to export and import into the forecast, which I'll be demonstrating, and as a way to compare actual versus forecasted. Looks like our total income was pretty close. Our COGS was pretty close. But our expenses was very different. Again, just playing with dummy data. But you can see that if you want to say, all right, show me January, we could then compare month to month where the different levels and the specific information from your chart of accounts we can compare versus forecasted. So a really cool tool to enable you to see how well you're doing in terms of forecasted versus actual. This is your dashboard. Next tab is called Inputs. Inputs is a way to put your corporate information as a way to record it, how you're taxed, cash or accrual, when your business started, when you want to start the forecast. So this would probably, whenever your start date is. Do you want to include previous year? Yes. You could also not include that. Your different bank account names, your credit cards, payment processors, just information so we can estimate merchant fees, and then your payroll setup, which is your different types of payroll, your first start date, and we'll see this in the Teams tab of a way to, setting up your payroll. We then have various lists. The first list is the products that you want to sell. And how this, all this detail. Again, we'll be working on this specifically when we show you the future videos, how this compares to the different QBO types so we can compare book sales and marketing course. I think I just made that up. Let's call that YFF as a way to connect the forecasted data to the actual data for those comparison charts we saw on the front page. Similarly, your COGS, your different types, and then you have your high-level expense types. And this is a way to build some more graphs in terms of the data. And then your subtypes, different types of operating expenses, rent, utilities, cleaning. It looks like we have some meals, different OpEx, and again, a way to connect them to the QBO types for comparison on that front page. So this is something you'll be setting up when we first start with the forecast. And as your business evolves, as you have new different expense types or different income types, you can simply add. I believe there are 40 different types of income types, over 200 COGS and expenses. And there's one other type of income. This is called membership or recurring revenue types. We have the ability to set up 5 different recurring revenue types, which I'll be going over in just a moment in the future tab. So again, this is the backbone of the or really the front end to connect to the backbone of your specific business needs and what it provides. The Numbers tab is the way to pull data from the various tabs to create your forecast going forward. So you can see this is all pulled from various formulas. Here's the different income types by month, the different recurring revenue, expenses, and all this sums up into the ability to see both your total expenses and your net profit, which is displayed on the front page. You will not be interacting with this page too much, though sometimes for the geekier types, you might want to be able to see the progression at this level. But this is the true backbone of the system is the number tabs because everything sort of feeds into this to provide your top line income. You can see this is the numbers tab here. Okay, in this section of income, what you'll do is you'll be able to provide your different product types, your clients optional, and then your start date. So it looks like I am coaching Mr. Redford in 2023 at $5,000 a month, and then he'll be paying me $7,500 in um, 2025, and then up to 10,000 2026. And so what you can see is the system forecasted 5,000 a month to 7,500 to 10,000 a month as we go. And what this will provide is the ability to forecast going forward what your total income is. You can see I'm also David Bowie, Adam Ant, Sheryl Crow, Xavier Rude. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's amazing. And different ways to provide the different types of income you're expecting to feed into your numbers tab. Your expenses are similar in the way of the process. You'll be adding your expense type, the vendor name, the optional of an annual or a monthly fee. For example, auto expense. I guess this is my insurance. 172 is once a year. And so you can see this is on January of 2023 and January of 2024, a way to predict your expenses. Also, 1,000, 5,000. This is not till 2024. So you can predict current and future expenses as a way to add to more data to your forecast. Again, we'll be going over this much more detail as I fill in my own forecast going forward. The MRR is a recurring membership. So this is a way that you can set up different levels of your membership. These are 5 different memberships here, and this is what your expected growth rate is over time. You can see here that I'm expecting 10 at 100 going forward and then increasing at 10%. No churn, maybe that's not accurate. Let's put 2.5% churn, and what that'll do is that'll affect your numbers going forward. You can also say, okay, I'm going to increase the price in 2026 to 147.50, and what the system does is creates that model in that time frame to create the increase of your forecast. Again, we'll be going over this in detail in future videos, but just a way to have your recurring revenue set up. Calculator is another backbone part of the system. This will probably be hidden. And what this does is provide the ability to do the calculations of total, um, uh, come up with the numbers, and this will translate into the COGS because COGS are based on per product name. And the ratio. And again, we'll be going over this much more detail in future videos, but the calculator is a method for you to figure out how many transactions per type per month so we can figure out the COG. The team is your payroll, your team payroll. Again, in the front end, we decided to do weekly and 2x a month. W-2s being paid weekly, 52 payments a year. And what you can do is put in your different team members, their department, their role, their start date, their annual salary, or their hourly salary as a way to say if they're 1099 or W-2, and just a methodology for you to set up different ways to track your team expenses. And we'll go over this in future videos. Cash flow is part of the back end. COGS we just talked about. Lists is another part of the back end. This is where you can set your defaults. For example, you can set up your team departments here. Um, let's call this a morale team. And once we update it here in team departments, now this will be part of the morale team here. So everything again is tied. So these are different lists that the system uses. And finally, QBO P&L as a way for you to upload on a monthly basis once your books are closed, your different types, your different actual incomes. So this will be the backbone for the comparison process between the forecasted and actual. And so again, we'll be going over how to update this in the future, but a way to merge your actuals to the forecast. And that, my friends, is your tour of your financial forecast. I know that was quick. I know that was a lot of information, but hopefully that will provide you with some know-how of how the system will work. And as soon as you watch this, get ready for video number one. Well, we'll start to upload my current data as a way to show you how this thing works. Thank you so much.